Everybody, it's Kristina Dennis, Transformational Self-Empowerment, Monday afternoon. I know I was not supposed to say that because people don't all watch these at the same time, but I like a little grounding personally, especially today. And what did I wanted to share? What did I want to share? What do I want to share? And what was on my mind the last weekend and a couple of days last week was this whole idea. Let me fix my hair. Or I don't think there's fixing it. It's a Monday hair. This whole idea of what's possible, how you can approach certain areas of your life that have been tricky or have continued to bring you pain or emotional stagnation, being stalemate, not feeling like you can move forward, and also that whole idea of giving yourself a report card for your behavior and for every single instance and occurrence that happens. And I, interacted with several people this weekend that I work with and last week, and it kept coming up. These people that I adore and love and have seen make so many changes in their life and live a better life, be really, really hard on themselves and have this measuring stick, this report card that is not useful. It's not helpful. And it's anytime somebody, I always think of this when we're talking to ourselves in those really piss poor ways, is when someone is hysterical, yelling, relax, 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 and shaking them. And I know they do that in the movies, but I don't know anybody. I mean, maybe I guess some people need a slap to shock them or get them moving, but most of us maybe need one slap, and then we tend to start slapping ourselves over and over and over again. And I don't find that to be the most useful, most loving way. In fact, quite the opposite. I feel like a softer approach, changing your physicality, changing your thoughts, doing it in the kindest possible way and with the most compassion, in most cases, once you've gotten the ball rolling, is going to be the most effective long-term highway to change. And we all have, an 8-lane highway to negative, because that's the way our brains are designed to keep us alive. And we have a gravel road to joy and peace. And what I like to say when someone talks about what they would like to see in their lives and they're not exactly sure how to put into words the emotion and the framework in which they're trying to transform their life is, taking your life that's in pieces and living it in peace instead. And that peaceful approach, that long-term change, is what I think is going to make the biggest transformation, because it is always a little adjustment, a little microscopic change in your behavior and your attitude toward yourself that is going to continue to build that highway to positivity, and that environment in which positive thoughts and emotions can coincide, and that true grieving can occur because you're in a safe place. And therefore, some of these blocks that have kept you back, or some of these patterns that have been instilled and stalled, and you're not sure how to get them uninstalled, they can kind of fall away because we establish new patterns and we continue to go back to the drawing board, keep going back and keep going back. And that we should measure our movements and our goals in the fact that we take action. So I wanted to impart a little thought that I told 2 women this weekend to do, because they were really stuck in certain areas. And here was the thing. Autism has taught me with my son, he has some amazing skills here and he has some splintered skills here, and some things he's not exactly sure how to handle at all. And if I don't have the emotional capability with him, then there's no point in pushing him, because he's not going to retain any of it. And if I don't go back and realize, this missing block needs reinforcement, which might be 4 steps behind what I thought we were working on, but what we're working on isn't moving anywhere because it doesn't have the strength of the foundation, then you got to step back and look at the whole picture. And so here's a thought that I gave to them and I want to give to you. If you've got an area that's stuck in your life, or let's just say anything, tomorrow the rest of the evening, take the time to figure out what you're thinking about. I talk about this a lot, creating agency in yourself. But I want you to think the thought, if something shows up, it's negative, positive, it feels familiar, it's kind of a pattern, it's not really aiding you anymore, you know that. I want you to say to yourself, I am willing to look at this differently. 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 Don't come up with solutions. Don't force things. Just let give yourself that exit route of the pattern that's been keeping you stuck in the mud. I had that happen this morning. I had it happen this afternoon a few times. There was some benefits issues with my son where all of a sudden he doesn't have therapy anymore. And special needs moms, you get it. And it's frustrating, and there's a lot of components with his dad kind of stepping in and doing some of the paperwork, which he's never done, and me getting, of course, the notice that as of June 1st, his benefits are gone, and it's June 3rd. And I don't want to go to fear, because that's not going to help anybody. I don't want to rush down to social services tomorrow morning unless I have to, because I've done all my part. All I could say is I'm willing to look at this differently. I'm willing to look at this differently and wait for that different perspective to show up. And it's like kind of hitting the pause button for a few minutes. It's not judging any of the emotions that came flying out at first, my initial response, which makes it way better than going down that shame spiral, and it's not forcing a solution that doesn't include, my creator or somebody else, i.e. the other parent, to step in and do his part, and we'll see. But for now, I'm willing to look at this differently, that Billy may not have therapy for the next 3 or 4 days, and he may be home with me. This may be a reset that I'm not aware that he needs. I am willing to look at this situation differently, because the other options are painful and they come at a cost that I no longer want to pay. And what a nice way to approach anything that is different in my life that I want to handle differently. And that's what I imparted upon my friends. Don't beat yourself up. Don't pull out this report card that doesn't exist to anyone else but you. And when you say, I'm willing to look at this differently, that means how you approach it, how you feel about it. You're willing to be open to some options. And that's going to give you some agency and a little bit of time to respond in the manner that you want to, and to have other solutions show up that don't include you and your brain and everything that you can think of doing. And I believe that's when miracles happen, when I step out of the way and let things kind of move on as they should. Because in the meantime, I got to take care of my son, because there isn't a therapist here today. I'm always taking care of him anyway. It's kind of a silly thing to say that. But the point is that I don't know what these next 2 or 3 days are going to show us without benefits. But I know that eventually he will have them again. And I know that maybe something amazing is going to happen in the next 2 or 3 days that I didn't even anticipate. And I don't have to spend so much pressure and stress and emotional turmoil thinking about it right this minute, or approaching it in the way that I have in the past. And God bless me for the way I did in the past, because I was doing the very best I could. And if you've got a situation like that and you've done it in a way that you don't want to do it anymore, but you're not exactly sure because you can't go from A to C, go ahead and just, hang out in A+, okay, I'm just going to think about how I can approach this a little differently. I'm going to look at this a little differently. So everybody have a great day, and I will catch you later. Talk to you soon. Bye.